Good morning, Unity community of Central Oregon. We are so happy to welcome you on this beautiful Father's Day. We want to give a special welcome to all the fathers out there and a welcome to everybody in this community, no matter where you are. We especially want to welcome people of every color, especially Black people right now, because your lives matter to us. We want to welcome the people who have different sexual orientations. All of you, no matter what that is, you are welcome here. And we especially welcome you as your Pride Month has been dissipated because of all the social distancing and other protests. We want to know you to know how much we value you. We welcome you no matter where you are located and how old you are and what your body looks like. You have a place here. So let's say our mission statement together. We are a vibrant, welcoming, multi-generational, prosperous community embodying love and awakening spiritual consciousness. Let's take it to Soul Shine.
This one is more fitting than ever, I think, Eric. Hold on.
Yep. We are all friends here. There are no strangers once you walk inside the door. We welcome you to linger in this family of love and hold you in our hearts the way you are. We are all friends here. There are no strangers once you walk inside the door. We welcome you to linger in this family of love and hold you in our hearts the way you are. We are all friends here. There are no strangers once you walk inside the door. We welcome you to linger in this family of love and hold you in our hearts the way you are. Hold you in our hearts the way you are.
Now, we did this one last week, so we're going to do it one more time because it's fun. Stand up and move around. Whoa, geez. Here we go. There we go. Oh,
the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh,
here we go.
I used to think that I had to. I used to think that I should. 'Cause the scripture told me. It said, you gotta be good. But now I love 'cause I want to. I love 'cause I'm free. I'm blinded by the Spirit.
What?
Yeah. I said the Spirit of God is upon me. Yes, it is. Oh.
Come on.
The Spirit of God is upon me. Oh. The Spirit of God is upon me. Oh.
Come on, everybody.
The Spirit of God is upon me. Oh.
Yeah.
The Spirit of God is upon me. Oh.
All right, let's go one more time. Come on. Here we go.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Spirit of God is upon me. Oh.
Sing it.
The Spirit of God is upon me. Oh. The Spirit of God is upon me. Oh. The Spirit of God is upon me. Oh. I thought it was my duty I thought it was my job, 'cause I believe loving God would be so, so hard. But loving God is wonderful. Loving God is ecstasy. I thank God for my freedom, yeah. Woo! The Spirit of God is upon me, yes it is, oh. The Spirit of God is upon me, oh. The Spirit of God is upon me, oh. The Spirit of God is upon me, yeah, oh.
One more time.
Spirit
One
of
more
God
time.
is
Come on.
upon me, yeah, oh. Spirit of God, Spirit of God, Spirit of God, oh. The Spirit of God is upon me, oh. The Spirit of God is upon me, oh. The Spirit of God is upon me, yes it is, oh.
Yeah. Woo. Good job.
That's so wonderful. I know that you are out there in your houses and your beds, even just boogieing in your pajamas, and we're so glad to have you joining us in that way. So let's turn it over to the Queen of Celebrations, Clare Kubota.
Good morning, Unity community. Zeke is here. He's really wanting to do celebrations with me because he just had a dad. So, well, Mike should be in. It might need a battery. I think I need a battery. Do I need a battery? Just a moment, please. It's blinking red.
What do you want to celebrate, Jane?
I would like to celebrate my father, who unfortunately passed away in 2013. But my father was a police officer, and I really feel like I inherited my desire to help people and whatnot from him, and any sense of just fairness and justice I've gotten from him. So thanks, Dad. And a love of Westerns. What can I say?
And I like to add to that, I'd like to celebrate my dad. He's 85 now. He's still kicking. Love him to death. He is so great with the kids, and my memories of him is his generosity, and I think that's why I would give the shirt off my back to people, because here he was on the weekend at home in Madras when we lived, and his clients, his people he worked for, would drop by the house, not just say hi, but to ask for money, because he was a loan officer. And he'd actually even give his own money to stop.
We lost sound. And now it's back. Exciting morning. Dads out there and who are celebrating being a dad. And so we celebrate that. And then also summer solstice is today, the longest day of the year. And I know some of you who are into all of that maybe post a little meaning of summer solstice and how and what we should be celebrating would be awesome. So let's see. And did you guys hear Meda? This beautiful hat is compliments of Meda. She has quite the awesome hat collection that she's sharing with me. So Victor sent in, he's celebrating being a dad. He's not here today because he took Coltrane out camping, so they're having an awesome Father's Day. And then Manissa is also celebrating her family, specifically her mom and dad and Roxy and Ray. So we're celebrating that with her. And Chris and Sarah Sase and Sean Axton and Kevin and I are all celebrating the different rallies and gatherings that have been happening for Juneteenth and for the Black Lives Matter movement. A handful of us attended the rally yesterday in Prineville, and all was peaceful, and it was just amazing to be there, and so many people showed up. Beautiful day, so celebrating that. Jim is celebrating that his daughter and her family are in town to celebrate Father's Day with him. And Carol is celebrating her dad, Bob, who is 91 and sharp as ever. So, and she said he believes in like the unity, you know, being present and not focusing on past things, but really being mindful and present, and that he has a beautiful spirit. So celebrating that with her. And then Sean's daughter is actually doing a documentary on a newly formed organization, the Central Oregon Black Lives Assembly. I think that's what, is that, I think I got that, the A right. And she's documenting that, which I think is super cool. I mean, I'm hoping that a lot of filmmakers are taking advantage and just really documenting this time in our country. So you guys all have a beautiful, beautiful day. I am celebrating, wait, before I forget, I'm celebrating my beautiful husband, who's an awesome, awesome dad, and both of our kiddos are here to celebrate Father's Day with him. And then, of course, my amazing dad, who I love dearly. He's been gone for quite a while, but celebrating that. So, love you all. Have a beautiful day.
Okay, well, we are time for our prayer, and let's start with meditation, and then we'll move into prayer from there. But make sure that you know where to fill in the prayer claim form, because we'd love to pray with you, and it's right in the description of the Facebook Live, or it's on the website. You can go and submit a prayer claim there, one or the other, but please let us know how we can pray with you. So let's just take a breath. The breath is this beautiful vehicle that takes us from the outside focus to the inside focus. And on this Father's Day, we think about how the Father is the source. Not our human fathers, but the all that is, the life force, the Father of all. And this is our time as we breathe to return to that source, to honor that source by returning and attending to it, much as we might go to visit our fathers in the physical plane. When you find your mind wandering to concerns that are in front of you, return to the source, to the Father of all life. And as you do, and you find that peace and that silence inside of you, recognize that you're a chip off the old block. You are what the source looks like in human form, what the source sounds like, what the source feels like, and how the source behaves. Remember who you are. in this space, we know the truth. All is well, and all will be well. Even when circumstances present that we don't know how. Let's move into prayer now. And with all these prayer claims, let's take them back to the source. Right now, our dear friend Marilyn Holler, her sister Fran died this weekend. And we know that Fran has returned completely to the source. And for Marilyn, who is grieving the loss of her best friend, we bring her in our hearts back to the source, to know that she can never be separate from her sister. And for all over the world who are grieving loss at this time of someone in the physical plane, whether it's loss through death or loss through distance, or loss through a breaking in the heart, we bring those beloveds back to the heart. And right now in our community, there are people who are dealing with illness. Beth's husband, Dan Miller, is in the hospital. And there are other people who are ill right now in our community and in the world. Lisa Jacobson's father is in a serious health condition. We bring these back to the source. And in the source, there is only vibrant life. These circumstances that seem so dire are not truth. Only vibrant light is truth. We bring them all back into this source. Right now in our community, we have people who are looking to sell their properties and houses, to find places to rent, to move motor vehicles. There is shifting happening in living situations, and we claim that we bring all of these individuals back to the source. And in that source, there is such order. The buyers are coming now, the rental opportunities are appearing. There is no lack in the source. And for those who will be giving birth this week, or who will just be giving birth to some creative project this week, whatever it might be, whatever is coming forth from us, we claim that this is coming forth from the source and belongs to the source and will never be separate from the source. And for this we are so grateful. And as we hold our beautiful community garden in our prayers, that the critters that are attacking the plants find other ways to sustain themselves, and that our garden is preserved so that it may grow and flourish and feed people. We claim that the source that gives life to the earth and to the plants is guarding and giving life to our garden. We take all of these prayers now, and we especially take the people who hate the people who, during these protests, are making things worse because of hate. And we hold them and bring them back to their source, to the heart of love, that they may remember that love has no borders, that there is enough for all, that we feel better when we share and when we love. And we claim that for them. And for all those who have been discriminated against because of the color of their skin or their sexual orientation, we bring them back to the source, that they may remember that they are not who others say they are, that they are the light. They are love expressing, precious and worthy, and so, so beloved. Let's take this all now into song. Please say with me, love is our ultimate reality, everywhere present and whole. It radiates abundantly and continually creates good in my life and in the world. As we gratefully acknowledge the presence and power of love now, we see the people and circumstances we hold in prayer healed and illumined by love. And so it is. And now we're going to move into song, and then we have the treat of Kevin Kubota giving us a message today. So take it away, Soulshine.
The ways of wayward winds in a world of trouble and sin, walked along a crooked mile behind a million rank and file. Forgot where I came from, somewhere back when I was young. I was a good man's child. 'Cause I lost some nameless things, my innocence flew away from me. She had to hide her face from my desire to embrace forbidden fire. But at night I dream she's singing over me. Oh, my child, come on home. Home to me. wondering where I might begin. Hear a voice on the wind. She's singing faint but singing true. Son, there ain't nothing you can do. Listen close and follow me. I'll take you where you're meant to be. Just don't lose faith. So I put my hand upon the plow, I wipe the sweat up from my brow, plant the good seed along the way, as I look forward to the day when at last I see my Father run to me, singing, oh my child, come on home, home to me. And joyful be, there will always be a place for you at my table. Return to me, my child. Come on home, home to me, and I will hold you in my arms, and joyful be, there will always be a place for you at my table, at my table, at my table. Return to me.
Thank you so much, you guys. That was a absolutely beautiful rendition. That's one of my favorite songs, and I'm pretty sure I cried the first time I heard that song because it spoke to me about what it means to be a father. And I think this artist who wrote this song is Josh Garrels. If you guys haven't heard of him, it's pretty amazing. He's an amazing artist. And this song in particular, I believe he wrote it to his heavenly Father, speaking of returning to the Father and the acceptance of Father. But to me, it really symbolized what it meant for me as a human to be a father and to be opening and welcoming and to accept my sons at any time, at any place, no matter what they've done, what they've been through, what hardships, that they're always welcome back at my table. And with open arms, we're always going to love them. And that's what Father's Day is all about, and that's kind of what I want to talk about today. So happy Father's Day, everybody. All you fathers to be. I know we have some fathers that are getting ready to be fathers again right now, in this very moment, possibly. So if you give birth during the service, please put it in the chat, a little picture, so we can see what's going on. Yeah, we got to keep track of that. But let's talk about, first of all, I'm going to talk about different aspects of father. And I want to address the little baby elephant in the room, which I know some of us may not have great memories of our actual biological fathers, and that's okay. And what I want, and I'm encouraged and invite you to do as we're talking today, is just to think about the father figures or the male figures in your life that you do love and respect and who have had a great influence on you. So I know that can be sensitive for some people. When we talk about fathers, Father's Day, Mother's Day, it's always a time that you kind of have to be careful. So I'm inviting you to just be open and to think about the fathers that have shaped your life or the men that have shaped your life. So my father was a genius. And, well, at least I thought he was a genius when I was younger until I was old enough to, put him in perspective with the rest of the world and figure out he wasn't actually a genius, despite what we sometimes think about our fathers. But he was a very intelligent, and he's still here, he's a very intelligent man. And one of the things my father did when we were young is he is almost an obsessive teacher. And he would research things, and he would find out things, and didn't have the internet, but he had books galore, and he would learn about every single subject, and then he would share it with us nonstop, just tell us information, and we would sit there and soak it up as little kids. It was the best thing in the world. It was like the walking encyclopedia of Dad all the time, right? And that's awesome until you get a little older and realize that you want to have a mind of your own a little bit. So here I am. I'm about 12 or 13 years old. And I was into bikes, BMX bikes, and I had built my own, by hand, piece by piece, a custom BMX bike. And I was one of the first kids in my neighborhood to have a BMX bike because they were new, they were just coming out. And I, using this research and this hands-on skill that my dad had taught me, I built my bike bearing by bearing, piece by piece, grips, handlebars, every little piece. I got it custom, built this beautiful bike. And one day, my best friend and I, Robert, went out for a ride on our bikes. And as we're riding around the neighborhood on our bikes, and I hear Robert's brakes are squeaking in front of me. So I, of course, hey, Robert, guess what you need to do about your brakes? This is what I did, and I adjusted them, and I angled the toe of the brake pads in just a little bit there, and I used this, and here's what you need to do. And after a while, he just, stopped. He was quiet. Then he said, fine, you know everything there is to know about bikes. And he turned around and he dashed off home. And I'm sitting there on the side of the neighborhood street wondering what just happened. What did I do? I was trying to help him. I was trying to share my knowledge with him. And I didn't see Robert for weeks after that. He just disappeared. He was no longer my best friend. And I slowly rode home just completely confused. And it wasn't until years later that I started to realize that this was my dad coming out in me, the lecturing, teaching authority on everything, and here I was putting this on to my friends. And I would realize, as I think most of us have realized, that as you get older, most people don't like to be lectured to about things that they should be able to figure out for themselves or that they probably should know. But it took me a lot of years and a lot of parenting really helped me with this, to realize that you can't just tell people what to do all the time. You can't tell them what you have learned as if it's something that they should know and learn as well. They have to figure it out for themselves. So this was a thing that I was able to then look back on. I was able to reflect, to self-reflect, and to change in my life as I became a parent. And I know that I screwed up on this a lot with my boys, who are 18 and 21 now, but I tried. I always reflected back on this moment with Robert when I scared my best friend off because I tried to tell him what to do about his brakes. And I took that into raising kids. Now think about this. If you're a parent, you're teenagers, right? When did you start teaching them how to drive? Is it 15, 16? You start teaching your kids how to drive from the moment you bring them home from the hospital, put them in the car seat, and put them in the back seat of your car and start driving home. As you're driving home, every day of their lives until they're 16, that they're riding with you in the car, you are teaching them how to drive because they look at you, they model after you. And that's something that we don't think about so much when we're acting in the world, whether it's as a parent, a father, a mother, a friend, a mentor. If anybody in the world looks up to you, they're watching what you do every single day, and especially our kids. They're watching us. So imagine when they get 16, they've learned whether you drive reckless, fast, slow, however you drive for the first 16 years of their life, they're going to take that into their hands-on skills and become drivers now. And you're not going to tell them how to do it. They're just going to know because they followed your example. So imagine if you were to have a kid and say, you don't see a car, you don't ride in a car, you don't even know what it's like to be in a car for the first 16 years, and now you're going to drive a car. Just throw them in the car and try to teach them. It'd be a disaster, right? They absorb, they learn from watching. And I think that's a very powerful, powerful thing that we sometimes forget as fathers, as father figures, as mentors, is that everybody is watching. Somebody is watching your every move. And what we can do is plant seeds. We can't tell our kids what to do. We can't tell other people what to do, but we can model. There's a great quote, and I don't know the author, but I know his name is Clarence Buddington Kelland, and he said, "My father didn't tell me how to live, he lived and let me watch him do it." And I think that's one of the more important skills as a father, that coupled with the next part, which is letting go of your control. And I have one of my favorite memories. My wife probably tells it a little different than I will, but when my first son was maybe 2 or 3 years old, this is my other one, Kai, the older one, he had a big booger coming out of his nose. I mean, it was literally the biggest, largest chunk of stuff you'd ever seen, and it didn't seem possible that this could actually come out of his head. And Clare, of course, being the ultimate mother, she grabs a tissue and reaches for his face and starts to pull this thing out of his nose. And it was like Shrek, you're just like pulling this huge booger out of his nose. And Kai says, "No, my booger." And he tries to get it back from Clare because he wanted to get that booger. It was his big, tremendous booger. And that was like his personality for the rest of his life, is that you cannot do anything for him. You cannot tell him how to do it. He's got a mind of his own. And it's so funny is that term, he's got a mind of his own. Sometimes that's thrown around almost like it's a bad thing. My kid's got a mind of his own. Yes, of course. Don't we want them to have a mind of their own? But how hard is it for us as parents to let go of wanting to control that mind and shape that mind? One of the other aspects of being a father is the biological pieces, components. What makes us up that is actually biology that's given to us from our fathers, our parents? And here's a really interesting study. It's a story, really, not really a study, but a story. There were 2 women, Barbara and Daphne, and they were raised in London, and they were identical twins. And we have some identical twins out in our community, too, so your parents might relate to this. So these identical twins, from the time they were born, they were completely similar. They both left school, actually, at the same age of about 12. They both went to work for the government in a government job. They both met their future husbands at 16 years old at high school, or not high school, but community hall dances. They both got married. They both had miscarriages at the same time. They both had 2 boys and 1 girl. They both had the same weird quirks. Like they loved the same kind of foods. They loved weird foods. They drank their coffee cold. They both had fears of heights and blood. They dressed the same. They were identical. And this is not that strange until you consider that they didn't meet each other until they were 40 years old. They were adopted by separate parents and lived completely separate lives until they were 40 years old. They discovered each other, and when they finally met at 40, they were actually wearing almost the same clothes. Isn't that crazy? Like the biology of what created them, their personalities, their habits. They even said they had a habit of pushing their nose up with their palm like this, one of those funny body habits. They do that all the time. They both did that, completely separate of each other. So if you think about how much is nurture versus nature, right? They've even had studies that show that our tendency towards a happy disposition or a sad disposition or a worryful disposition is dependent on the left or right front part of our brain being more active on one side or the other, and that is also linked to our genes. And I find it interesting because my dad, generally a very happy guy most of his life, but in his midlife, started to experience depression. Me, same thing. Totally happy guy till I reached midlife, went into this weird depression. But it was only when I decided to step back and change that, to be self-aware enough to say, I've got a problem and I need to fix it, I want to fix it, I was able to change that. My father, unfortunately, has not been able to do that. He still deals with it. But the kind of the magic here, and we've talked about Bruce Lipton and the biology of belief, things like that. You can change your genes. You can change your biology with prayer and meditation. And for me, it was simply embracing my spirituality, coming to unity, meeting this community of loving people, and going deep within myself to find out where happiness really comes from. And it wasn't outside, it wasn't with anybody else, it was deep inside of me. And the beauty of that is that I was able to change my genes. And unfortunately, I'm not going to make any more children, so I can't pass on these new happy genes to anybody. But this is a good reminder for you dads out there who are preparing to make children. This would be a good time to get your stuff in order because you can change. You're not stuck with whatever your dad gave you, whatever your mom gave you. That may be your starting point, but you can change it. You can manipulate it. And this would be a good time to start. Start thinking about that. And then let's talk about our metaphorical father. And this is another pain point, I think, or a touchy point for some people. We talk about the Father in heaven, or if we say He, our Father, He, which is definitely more fundamental, a Christian approach. But I want to propose that maybe we think about this with an open mind. Maybe it's okay, for the context of this conversation, that we can say He. We can know that God, Spirit, oneness, is He, is she, is it, is all of it. We can even imagine that God is so much more that God doesn't really care if we call it he or she, or it, or dog, or whatever. Mac, buddy? I don't think God really cares because God is so much bigger than that. God is masculine and feminine. So when we talk about the masculine, the he energy of spirit, what comes to me is the words of that song, which is that there will always be room for you at my table. Return to me. No matter what happens in your life, no matter how you screw up, this is what we want our parents to do for us, right? We want our parents to be the people that no matter how bad we screw up in life, we can go home, sit down, have dinner, not be judged, and just be loved for who we are. And I think that's my vision of what spirit is, of what God, Him, when we speak of Him, is this loving energy that accepts unconditionally, with grace, without boundary. It is an unconditional love that is the love of the Father. And it is also in the mother. So whether you are out there today as a father or mother, a future father, a past father, no father at all, I think I've covered just about everybody out there potentially. We all can bring on a little bit of that Dad 2.0, which is the acceptance, the welcoming, the forgiveness. It doesn't matter who you are, what you've done, what color you are. Even if you've screwed up, you could go to jail. I want to love you. I want fathers out there. I want you to love them, to accept them for who they are. And that's Dad 2.0. That's what everybody in this world right now, right here, needs to share. And that's what I wanted to share with you. And I also have a little gift for you guys from some of our community members who have sent in some of their celebrations about their fathers and some wisdom from their fathers, which I think is really, really poignant. And if we listen to these few voices here and listen to what the message is, we realize how deep and beautiful the energy of the Father really is. So let's take a look at what some of our friends had to say.
I want to honor and celebrate my father, Samuel Schechter, because he exemplified courage that inspired my life. At the age of 13, he emigrated from a small village in the Ukraine to join his father in New York and started a new life. Eventually, he became a self-made man despite the incredible odds of the Great Depression. His example inspired me to follow my own aspiration in spite of the odds. And because of him, my daughters have been blessed with a positive outlook, which my own life and career now celebrates. Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Hello. I want to honor my grandfather, Lonnie Howard, because he exemplified being an honorable person. And I think because of him, I'm a more honorable person today. He was a powerful person. He worked his way up to be vice president of the second largest trucking company in the United States in the 1970s. And even though he had that power and had money, he didn't allow that to affect how he treated other people. In fact, especially later in life, most of his best friends were people that he met, like servers in restaurants, tellers in a bank, just people he met just going about his daily business, and he treated them just like he would treat anybody else, even though they might not have as much money as him or have succeeded as much as he did. He still treated them with respect. And not only did he treat them that way, but he truly got to be friends with them. He learned things about them. He asked questions of them to learn about them, and he would remember the stuff that he learned. So the next time he saw them, he would ask them how their child was doing, or say, "Isn't it your child's birthday today?" Or he would remember that it was a graduation or an anniversary that their family was having. So he truly got to know them. And so even though I'm not as good at doing that with people as he was, I do try to treat all people with respect, no matter their status in life. And lastly, I just want to give some advice from myself. I just want to remind you to, as a father, to love your children, tell them that you love them, and give them lots of hugs, and don't be shy about it, because with all the crazy stuff we got going on in the world today and all the online bullying, kids just need to hear that. They need to be reminded. They need to have that verbal reinforcement that they are loved, so that they remember that. And everyone have a great Father's Day. Thank you.
Hi, I want to honor my dad, Jack, who passed in 2009. And first of all, I want to say aloud, thank you, thank you, thank you. He was my teacher and my guide, and most of all, he was my friend, but he always had that voice that said, "You can do it, champ, whatever it is you want to do, you can do." And I believed him, and so because of that, it changed my life. I've had a rich, full life, maybe not conventional, but he never directed where I should go. Just trust your heart and you can do it. So I just want to say thank you. I feel my dad was a musician, and I think my offerings today are a result of him, and I think they're making a change in the world. And again, I just say thanks, Dad. I love you.
When I was asked to give a quick talk on male role models in my life, it immediately came to me that I have to talk to you about a gentleman who came to my home yesterday. We moved yesterday, and he and a bunch of other really wonderful people from the Unity community came to help us out. But this guy, above all others, was the strongest. He was the most vibrant, the most energized, and the most enthusiastic, and clearly the happiest to be there. Awesome, awesome, and just an amazing role model for me as a man on how to stay physically active, fit and alive and vibrant. Super impressed. This man is 77 years old. I am 46. He's 77. He is running circles around me. He was hands down the strongest person around, despite his 77 years. And he just acts like somebody in their 20s in terms of what he'll do and his vibrancy. And that man is Jim Passmore. He doesn't know this yet, but yesterday I decided he is my new role model on how to be healthy and fit. So thank you, Jim. I love you, and you are amazing.
Hi, this is Jim Passmore, and I want to honor my father. I was with him for the last week of his life, and on his deathbed, I asked him the question, do you have any regrets? And he said, no, I have no regrets. I made a lot of mistakes, but I have no regrets. And I had another mentor named Hal Grodsons, whom I worked with for many years. And basically what he said when I talked about a mistake I'd made, he said, you know what, if you're not making mistakes, you're not doing anything. So both of those are wisdom to live by for me. Thanks.
Woo! Thank you, dads, and thank you for that words of wisdom. And again, I hope you guys all have a great Father's Day. And don't forget, the words of wisdom are not just for dads, it's for all of us. So go forth and conquer. Have a great day, you guys. And back to Soulshine.
I know a girl, she puts the color inside of my world. She's just like a maze where all the walls are continually changed. And I've done all I can to step on the steps with my heart in my hand. Now I'm starting to see maybe it's got nothing to do with me. Fathers, be good to your daughters. Daughters will love like you do. Girls become lovers who turn into mothers. So mothers, be good to your daughters too. Oh, you see that skin? It's the same she's been standing in since that day she saw him walking away. Now she's left cleaning up the mess he made. Fathers, be good to your daughters. Daughters will love like you do. Girls become lovers who turn into mothers. So mothers, be good to your daughters too. Boys, you can break. You find out how much they can take. Boys will be strong and boys soldier on. But boys will be gone without warmth from a woman's good, good heart. On behalf of every man, looking out for every girl, you are the God and the weight of her world. So fathers, be good to your daughters. Daughters will love like you do. Girls become lovers who turn into mothers. So mothers, be good to your daughters too. Mothers, be good to your daughters too. Mothers, be good to your daughters too. Mothers, be good to your daughters too, yeah. Mothers, be good to your daughters too. Mothers, be good to your daughters too.
You know, the first song, Eric, it made me cry, and I thought, oh, this is a lively song, this will be good, but this one made me cry too. So it's just a very heartful morning. And Kevin, I loved your talk. It was just very inspiring, and I loved all the men that took the time to send in their videos, and it's such a beautiful community, and we're so blessed to have had the fathers that we have and the male role models that we have. I was laughing when you were talking, Kevin, about the learning to drive and the importance of how we model, because my 8-year-old grandson he wants us to let him sit on our laps and drive in, off-roads right now, but he says, how do you expect me to learn how to drive if you don't let me try it now? So there's not just modeling. So we have a few announcements. The garden, is needing some help this evening. If you come down and help build the netting over, so at least the birds will be kept out. And we hear that pinwheels will help. So if you have some pinwheels or some of those fancy whirly things, that will keep out both rodents and birds. So please bring those. This Wednesday, there's a drumming meditation online at 1 o'clock with Tarek Alea. And she is somebody who has been practicing drumming and the making of drums, and she's just written a book on drumming as meditation. So she's going to be sharing that free of charge this Wednesday at 1 o'clock. And then she'll be starting 2 series of 3 weeks of classes. One of them is about using the drum as a labyrinth. So it should be really interesting, and I hope that you'll sign up for those. You can just do that at Simple Church. Also, we have 2 spirit groups that are starting, one with Suzanne, What If It All Goes Right, and Holly Simonette is doing The Artist's Way. So check online for the details for that, because I'm not sure if those groups are full yet or not, but both of them will be amazing. And right after the service, please join us in the Zoom lobby. Now you have to go and find your newsletter and get the link there, because we don't, even though all are welcome here, Zoom bombers are not. So please get your link and come and join us that way. So this is time for your offering. And let's just hold this community in our hearts. This is such a vibrant community. We are living our mission of embodying love. We are awakening our spiritual consciousness and working toward that every day. And this mission is medicine. It's medicine that our world needs. And when you contribute to this community, you make this medicine more readily available. This is way more important than any vaccine. This is a way of living, a way of loving, a way of being. So please take your offerings, whether you're texting them or you're getting online and making the contribution or you're sending in your checks. However you're doing it, hold them in your hands and your hearts right now, and let us express our gratitude for this beautiful community. And let's sing together. I am so blessed to be part of this.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Prayers, all of these offerings, all of this love. And we say together, from the love of pure spirit within us, we bless these gifts. We send them forth to heal, bless, and prosper. They are evidence of our faith and belief in the world. They do good work and return to us multiplied abundantly. And so it is. And let's move into the prayer of protection.
The light of God surrounds me. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love of God. The power of God protects me. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over me. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is, because I am. I am. I am. I am. The light of God surrounds me. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love of God. The power of God protects me. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over me. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Because I am.